Alright, I need to make a pull ring for the top of this ham, number 20. So, let's see how we're going to do that. First I need to find out what size ring I need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at some of my older lanterns and see what they have. Here's a nice old ham, number 2 cold blast. I don't know if there's be enough light in here. Hang on a second. Still not. Alright, better light here. So I'm going to figure out, set that to 0, the wire that we need. It's hard to do when you're right-handed. And let me switch the camera over here. We are 5/64, which the next size up from there is going to be 1/8, so pretty close to 1/8 of an inch. And then we're going to be roughly one and 1/8 of an inch in diameter, so probably right close to up to an inch. Here's an old Dietz from that time period. It's a blizzard, and we are pretty much 1/8, and this thing is really bent, so just kind of get an approximate here. So we're probably close to one, so about 1 and 1/8, and 1/8 inch diameter is pretty much common. All right, out here to my toolbox. And I have some things out here. Different little pieces of tubing. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. And this is a 1/16 inch. This one is 1/8 inch. That's aluminum rod. This one is 2 millimeters. Now the nice thing about the 2 millimeter is, do this. The 2 millimeter is actually, I can't do this with 2 hands. The 2 millimeter is actually the 5/64, which is the same size as the rings we measured on the 2 lanterns. And they are hollow tube, which is what we want to use. You'll find that most of these rings on these lanterns were hollow tube. And the trick you have to keep in mind with these is you cannot just take these in your hand and roll them and bend them, because they'll just kink. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a socket and wrap it around. I've got a piece in there I've already used on another project I'm going to reuse. So I'll go and show you how we're going to do that. Alright, I have a piece of wire here I've used before, so I'm just going to reuse it. And it is 5/64, which is about the same measurement we're getting on the actual pieces over there. All right, and I'm going to use a 16 millimeter socket as our guide. What I'm going to do, so use that to hold it, and I'm just going to wrap it around. Just spin this all the way around. I want it to loop. There's a reason I want it to loop. Alright. Gives me a nice circle. If we measure that, we are 1 and it's like 3/32. If we step down from there, 5/64, 1/16. I think I can live with that. Alright, so we got a nice ring. Now what I want to do is I want to cut this off here so I can make a nice solder joint. So I'm going to lay that there. There. And I'm going to take my hacksaw and just cut through the first piece. Not break our globe over there. Then I come over here. And let's see. This we can just snap off now. I'm going to break that globe, I know. It's the dangers of working through a camera lens. You can't see what's around you good. Snap that off, and we have a good seam that we can solder now. Let's see how that looks on our lantern. Alright, this is the lantern we're going to put it on. You slip it in there, and that's going to look just perfect. But now what I have to do is we're going to have to solder that on there together. So let's do that next. First thing I want to do is use some acetone. And I'm going to clean the metal because you can't have any oils or grease on there, even though my rag is nice and greasy. Alright, I'm going to push that together just a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to put a little flux on that joint. I want this to stand out, so I'm going to hold that out there with this so it's not leaning against the lantern top. Alright, I got my solder, I got my little micro torch. Gonna heat that seam up. I want the solder to melt to the metal. I don't want to melt the solder onto the metal. Getting close. Cool down. See if we can zoom in here. That's not too bad. I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. Using my rag, I'm just going to heat up that joint. You need a couple extra hands for this, but unfortunately we don't have them. Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Hang on. I'll straighten that out. I'm going to heat that up and push these two back together. Let that cool for a second. And there we are. That one I can live with. What do you think? Nice little pull ring. I'm actually going to file that down just a tad and smooth that out, but that's a good solder, good ring.